Very interesting presentations all along. I'm going to talk a little bit about the true costs of food. We heard this morning, we saw the report of the Sustainable Food Trust on the hidden costs of food. What we did in the Netherlands, just a brief introduction, I'm of origin a medical doctor and also an organic farmer. I combined the two already 40 years ago, being an organic farmer and having my medical practice at the same time, and have been working on promoting healthy food and organic farming systems since then in many countries. What we recently did was for the northern region of the Netherlands, an assessment, a study, scenario study, what would happen if all these three provinces would be 100% organic? What would change in the economic performance? What would change in the environment and in the health costs? It was quite interesting what came out. So the question was, what will happen to, for instance, the employment? What will happen to the economic performance and the environmental performance, including the health costs? We had two benchmark indicators. One was employment, which is quite easy, but then the other one was the real added value, and that one was more interesting to work on. We said that we invented three virtual money systems, all related to the euro, which we called the Futuro, the Maturo, and the Puro. The Futuro is the future costs that you will encounter, for instance, through environmental problems. The Maturo is the societal costs. And when you subtract these two from the gross value of the agriculture sector, then you get to what we call the pure value. We had 9 scenarios, 20, 50, or 100% organic, with a either 0, 10, or 25% premium price, and all mixed together. So a baseline scenario, and 9 other ones. And just to tell you how we did this, my colleague, who was the leader of this study, did his PhD with Professor Jules Pretty of, I think it's called West Sussex University. Some of you maybe know him. He has been doing a lot of work in this field. And we used the methodology set up by the European Environmental Agency. So we got these 10 scenarios. And we saw that in a number of scenarios, the gross added value would be bigger than in the baseline scenario. And obviously, those would be the ones if you combine organic 100% with a higher premium price, with a 25% premium price. But now the more interesting part is, what is the effect on the environment? I show you a few slides. It's too short time to go into it. Where the blue lines indicate what the future scenarios perform compared to the baseline scenario. The baseline scenario is the outside line, 100%, and a number of environmental effects are very clear. For instance, on the right side, you see the sulfur dioxide that decreases to almost 0. Other indicators decrease a little bit or more. And here you see the synthetic pesticides on the left upper side. They go down to 0, and others are equal or a bit or more or less. And that all of that can be monetized. There is an interesting system to calculate how much money it will cost to work out to counter these environmental effects. And here we see these costs included in the picture we saw before. And you see that with in the middle, you see the baseline scenario, that the environmental effects cost 800 million euros compared to the gross economic value of 1,000 million euro. So it's about 70% of the value of the agri sector is lost by the economic costs. In the organic scenarios, of course, there is still environmental costs, but those environmental costs are less. So what you need at the moment is approximately a 10 to 12% premium price for the organic products to reach the same economic value of the agriculture sector if you would turn the whole region towards 100% organic. And that is very interesting. Since I'll skip these conclusions, but I'll just go to the elephants in the room. If we would manage in future to also monetize a number of other interesting aspects, one is biodiversity, which at the moment it's very difficult to monetize, but people are working on that. Another one is the resistance to antibiotics, which came up several times already today. And then certainly also the internal food quality that we have been hearing a lot about today. If you will be able in future to monetize those as well, then the scale will easily go in the other direction, and organic farming will lead to a higher economic performance in a region like we have been working on. I think we did a number of recommendations to our government, and in the north of the Netherlands we are now going to work more proactively to promote organic farming. And I just would like to say, as from my own experience, having worked in more than 30 countries with large and small farmers, and being a medical doctor myself, I always say that the real sustainable farmer is the doctor of the future who will heal the earth. And we need that person, and we have to put him on a pedestal, and we have to put her on a pedestal, because 70% of the world's farmers are women. Thank you very much.